Hello! Welcome to Clay to Canopy, the show where I attempt to make just about everything from the ground up. And welcome to the Don't Wake the Dragon Interior Makes series. Now this video has a little bit of everything. I'm going to be making a set of dominoes. I'm also going to be making some sets of runes. And along the way, this process involves a bit of resin casting, a bit of cricketing, a bit of fabric work, and yeah, I think... What else do I got going on? And also introducing you to my Glowforge Aura. So, let's go get into this. So I'm a sculptor. I know a lot of sculptors usually tap into resin at some point. This type of resin is like craft-oriented resin, not actually artistic resining. Resin was always that one thing that I never got into, and I don't know why. I enjoy materials that are more what I consider to be like your domestic materials. The things that you find in your home, glass, ceramic, wood, textiles. To me, I always thought, well, why are you making it out of resin? Why not just make it out of glass if that's what you want? You know, the look of resin sort of translates into glass. It was never something that I fell into until I started building this dragon. It's kind of changed my perspective on how I feel about resin, and I've allowed myself a little bit of dabbling. I definitely see myself doing more projects like the dragon where I'm utilizing the wood fiberglass resin combination because I'm getting used to this material. I want to play, and I really want this set of dominoes. Last spring, when I was laid up with the second part of the leg injury, it's right now it's in like the fourth stage of the leg injury. Well, when I was in the second part of the leg injury, I dabbled a little bit and made a couple things. I never made the dominoes, which is what I had intended. I wanted to have game pieces. So today I'm just going to allow myself a little bit of playtime. I'm going to begin pouring the dominoes, and I still have the rune dice that I never got to cast because I was waiting on syringes. I did cut up the leftover zip ties, and I have a jar of them. My idea was to use it as filler. I have to put in a very thin clear coat of resin first, completely let that dry, and then I can put in a colored layer with the bits so that it reduces the air bubbles that would be up against the pattern design. I have some sets of runes and the other game pieces. I don't think I'm going to cast everything that's on this table today, but this is going to take multiple stages. I'm using this cheaper Dr. Crafty resin because it was about 60 bucks for the gallon. It's half the price of what I'm using with the other resin, and it's supposed to be not as yellowing as regular boat builder's resin. Beyond that, I'll be using some rubber gloves. I have some syringes. I'm gonna get suited up and pull you in here, and we will get some casting going. These guys are coasters that look like rocks. I'm gonna make a set of those as well. This resin is 1-to-1 volume. 1-to-1 is probably one of the easier ways to go rather than like sort of gauging droplets. You have these other syringes. These have a bit larger of an opening. They're not okay for the dice, but might give me a little bit more control with filling. Yes, Ma? Why are you on top of the dragon? You taking your cues from your brother? Not quite sure these dominoes are gonna be big enough to pull this double color thing off. And I am watching Victoria slide across the top of the dragon. Mama! Boy, this is gonna take some time, damn it. Took some time to get all of these filled up with the clear. I have a little bit left. I don't want the runes to be just clear. I'm gonna just go ahead and put in my mica into what I have here, give it a mix, and have a go at filling up the runes. And then I'm gonna bust out a heat gun to help get rid of some of the bubbles that are sitting on the surface. Got a little fava bean at Mama's feet. Well, this is one big freaking mess. I've made a ridiculous mess. I think I gotta stop pumping these. Let the edges set and then come back with more. The clear has set pretty nicely. I'm just gonna keep it simple and just do the mica powder that I've been using for the dragon over the next coat. I am gonna use some of these zip ties to fill in things. Possibility my battery will die, but basically I'm just going to mix this up and pour it into these molds, and then it has to set again before we can move on from there. One thing I learned from the runes, these will level themselves out, so I don't want to overfill. I unmolded the dominoes because I needed to measure them for the box that I want to make, but I also have been playing with how I'm going to go about finishing the backs because they are uneven and they do need to be sanded down. I also feel like just leaving them plain does not have the clay to canopy flair. You know, there's like that little bit of extra that makes it clay to canopy, and I just feel like leaving it resined like this is just not it. So this is one that I've sanded, I've polished. I've tried to do this bookbinding adhesive with the fabric, but it just peels off. So my next move is to sand these all down. The PVA glue is really great, this bookbinder's glue, but it didn't grab unless it was sanded. Y'all, I had some lighting issues, so I'm going to just breeze through this footage really quick. What happened was I applied this PVA glue, put on one layer first, let it dry a bit, then added the fabric with a second layer, and then let the whole thing dry. And I did this entire process for the rest of the dominoes. I have decided to fill in the holes with some silver acrylic. I applied the PVA glue to the back of these. They kind of left them a little bit tacky. I picked up some of this gloss varnish that actually a student of mine was using on ceramics. Because it's an acrylic base and it says you can paint over the PVA, I thought that this would be able to go on and get rid of some of the tack. So last night I hit the backside with a coat of that and it worked beautifully. Now I'm going to move on to the box. I used the Cricut software to design, score, and cut a box made out of chipboard. The Cricut program is great when you're in a pinch, but because I had to put in those corners the funky way that I did, my box got cut a little bit uneven. I have some sides that are slightly uneven. I'm gonna just come in and have to manually take a cut at those. I'm gonna use my rotary tool if I can find it somewhere on this table. Hello, rotary tool, do you exist? Aha, in the front. Since this is the top, and it's a pretty snug fit, I don't have anywhere to relieve it from the bottom, so I'm going to be putting in a cutout so that way, you know, you can grab and pinch and pull the bottom out. Who would have thought making one set of dominoes would be so freaking complicated? Always complicated here in Clay to Canopy though. Y'all know how it rolls. If you've been with me a while, you know what I'm saying. I think I'm just gonna have a go at using the iron to get this tacked on because it is sticky tack. I'm gonna go ahead and put the inside one on first. Just doing a bit of trim in. I am gonna go over it with that gloss varnish. I decided that to close up these boxes, I'm going to hit each edge with some super glue first, and then I'm going to go over the corners using this extra piece that has the tack on it. So that way it'll give me some reinforcement. When this varnish goes on all over everything, it's going to soak through all of the material and lock everything into place. I'm going to hit everything with the PVA first, let all of that dry, and then I will come back hopefully with the acrylic varnish. But this top coat of green is going to have the holy fabric on it. Before I get the holy fabric on though, I want to saturate it with the PVA. So that way I get a good strong bond. Hopefully all works well. I'm gonna work on cleaning up some of the other molds and opening them up. The cat one was successful, thankfully, and I just went in and sort of shaved away using my razor blade. This way I don't have to do as much cleanup. So the ones that I can do this with is what I'm gonna do. I think I can get away with this with the majority of the rest of these. The dominoes were a different situation. That mold was super shallow. For the rest of this though, just taking my razor blade at the corner to shave it down. I think that's gonna just be enough for me. Now that my hands are killing me from doing all of that carving and sanding, I'm gonna just stick with what I've got so far. I don't really feel like I want to go down the road of trying to cast anything else. I have what I really wanted, which was the set of dominoes, and then with that I have this awesome set of runes and some coasters. The coasters need to get backed with some felt or something. The balloon doggy was just for fun, and it is as is. I only got 2 rune die that came out. I'm not going to cast the other one. These were just for fun that I just kind of threw in there. I think what's making its way into the dragon is going to be the coasters, at least 1 set of runes, and the dominoes. But I also made some sacks for the original rune set. So now that I have 1 additional set of runes, I will still make an extra drawstring bag, but I do need to paint these. So that was kind of why I busted out the old set. I'm just gonna go in again with that silver acrylic and have some fun painting up what I have. I'll apologize if this is a weird angle, but this is pretty much the only way I can get most of my desk area in the shot along with myself in this very tight space. I have been trying to do a bunch of inside workspace because of the condition of my body that is still healing. So I just wanted to give you an update on how far along I am on the dominoes. I had to remake this top 3 times. I finally got it to a point where I'm happy with it. I still have the runes to continue painting up. In a moment, I am going to talk about my happy new little friend because she is making her first appearance. Before I get to her, let me just go over what's going to happen next with these dominoes. And I have the label. So I need to pre-drill these holes and get this label on the top of here, and then this will be completed. My new friend, I would like for her to make a new set of wooden runes. Runes are Viking language. It's a Viking alphabet. The Vikings would have someone who would read the runes and they would tell them which way to go, where their journey was leading. This was a big thing for them. Since I am building a Viking-inspired dragon, she needs to have some runes. Let me get on to resolving this, and then we're going to talk about her. I need to drill a hole, but I also have tacks that are little studs. Alright, the box is done. Finally, the freaking Dominoes box is done. You don't even know what happened off camera. This was like the most agonizing freaking thing ever. Now we are gonna put these in here. Yes, in the perfect size box. Huzzah, huzzah, huzzah. Dominoes done. All right, this feels like an accomplishment. I purchased this Glowforge Aura. It's addictive. I have been getting acquainted. We're going to be seeing a ton of the gaming pieces coming up, but I wanted to slowly introduce her in this video. I started making a lot of parts without the aura, and then she came into my life halfway through, so it sort of altered some of the things. I'm going to have the aura cut a wooden set of runes. I found this great pattern with the Glowforge app. There are a number of pre-made patterns just like Cricut has. Right now I just want to show you the machine, show you the materials that I'm using, and then to do a quick print of these runes that are going to be going off inside the Glowforge. So right now I have a piece of medium bass hardwood. The Glowforge pieces all come with the coating of paper and the QR code. There is a camera at the top of the cover along with on the cutter head, so there's 2 cameras. The main camera will do a basic scan. It'll scan your materials. It reads that QR code and tells the computer exactly what you're cutting, so it makes all of the necessary adjustments for you. If you are using your own, which I have not done yet, you have to sort out those settings that it automatically tells you here. So I'm gonna go ahead and do a bit of screen recording on my computer. This is connected to the filter that's sitting back here on the, I have my front door, which is open, it's just right here. Even though I have this filter, I still also have my door open because as you start cutting, it is burning wood and you will smell stuff. From your main section, there's a library here. You can go through, pick whatever the heck you want to use. These runes are from the library that was offered on Glowforge. So here they are in my library. I'm just picking on this project and it's gonna pull up the design and show me the layout on the sheet that I have put in here. There it is. It pretty much is gonna just about cover exactly what I need it to on my sheet. So I picked the right stock. On the left-hand side, it's gonna tell you the different things it's gonna do. Slightly different than the Cricut because it does all these things at once and I don't have to change out any cutter heads. From this space I can click print. Now it's going to go and it's going to take an actual scan because this top scan is just doing a window like box view. It's going to scan and it's going to calibrate using the camera on the head of the cutter. Sometimes this takes a minute because it's also calculating how long this is going to take to do the cutting. Alright, there we go, calibrating. Now the camera's gonna go back. It's gonna like align itself with the two cameras. Alrighty, it's done that. Preparing your print. Calculating time. 4 hours and 32 minutes. That's freaking insane for some runes. But I have noticed that anytime I engrave something, it takes an insane amount of time. I'm gonna go ahead and push that button and then things are gonna get really loud. But while it is cutting those runes, I am gonna start making the bags for this set of runes and for the other set of runes. I'm not gonna talk during that process. It's gonna be loud, but you'll see me mapping out fabric, stitching some really basic bags like this. And there she goes. She's off and running. And it's fun because this little chat pops up, so if you're sitting here doing nothing, you can talk to other Glowforge owners and have a conversation with whatever the heck they're doing. Alright, we are about a half hour in, and so far there's some tree etchings. Yeah. Alright y'all, clock says hour 47 minutes left, so that's about halfway through. We are still at the engraving stage, so it's engraving trees, and whatever that negative space is the rune. Anyhow, onward. We are into the last 30 minutes. It is now doing what is called scoring, and it is highlighting those runes. So the score line is, I don't know, I think it's just like a faster way of engraving. The last 30 minutes it's going to finish this, and then it's going to start its cut, where it's going to cut around each one of them. So I ran into my first major off problem. This is the first, I would say, like big problem. You can see this rune here, that one, which ate into that one, is off in alignment. So it's actually, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4 runes that I'm gonna have to recut. Everything else looks okay. Thankfully in the software, I can delete out whatever I don't want and just recut the ones that I need. There's a paper film. I'm gonna show you how to remove this film that's on here. I ordered these fancy little pens, which is basically a pin point. It's like a pin lodged inside of a pen tip, just to make it a little easier. So you just come in and you sort of pick at it, and then you can peel. It's kind of tedious. In between where these leaves are, you gotta pick out each one of them. Weeding, basically weeding the same way you would with your Cricut if you're doing it for vinyl. The wood is pre-finished, so you can see this can become a bit tedious. The great thing about it though, when you're done removing whatever you're removing, you have a finished product. There's no more steps after coming out of there and cleaning off the paper tape. This is complete. I don't have to add a finish, I don't have to do anything to it. Maybe I'll make something that goes here to dangle. I'm gonna go ahead and cut 2 little pine trees on the Glowforge, and they will be the enders at the bottom of this bag. I'm gonna have to hand stitch them on. These cute little trees are just so adorable. I am gonna go ahead and I gotta pull the papery layer off. This will get hand stitched onto the bottom, and then I will be done with this bag. Now this material is basically going to be the same deal. I'm just going to do a quick stitch up around the pouch after installing the other piece of rope. Alright y'all, these are the final results on all of my castings, my resin fun. All of the felt and everything is in. The dominoes are all painted. The box is finally resolved and fits well. All that is left here is to get this stuff loaded on into the dragon. I'm gonna call this video here. So I hope you enjoyed hanging out with me while I made a bunch of random resin objects for Ms. Evangeline. Please like, share, and subscribe if you have not done so already. Stick around to watch more interior makes to come, and remember, don't wake the dragon.